sharing our stories connects us. Listen and be connected. Join us for the conversation meeting weekly at the intersection of community and culture. Hosted by Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter. There he is, Joe King Carter at the intersection of community and culture. Joey, get out of the intersection.
But it's where all the fun is.
That's true. That's very, very true. I'm your host, Mario Nunez. Again, I just introduced Joe King Carter. You're listening to WMNF Radio 88.5 here in Tampa. You might also be listening WMNF.org from anywhere on the planet you happen to be seated with a decent internet connection. Joey, here we are, man. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. And we love it when it's Wednesday and it's hump day because that means we get to come in here and share our views and our guests and our opinions with our listeners. And, of course, tomorrow's a special day, as we all know. It is a day of giving thanks. Joey, what was your week like, let's say, leading up to today?
Well, it was a great week. I didn't have, I can't really speak to anything that was not basically wonderful.
Okay, so a remarkable week. We can leave it at that?
Well, yeah, it was nice. In light of all that has happened to us in the last couple of months, the weather has shifted a little bit, and I've tried to keep my mental clarity and completely clean of any kind of stress.
Absolutely. I wish I could say the same. But we also have someone in studio with us that, she's wearing her chapeau today. She looks lovely.
Oh, that's right.
From us,
Jessica Green, Jessica G, the OG of the Board Ops.
There you go.
How you doing?
And we're grateful to have her here. Hi, Jess. How are you?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, darling. So Jessica has promised us that from this day forth, she will be ably assisting us by reading our emails, because sometimes when we get carried away in conversation and we take phone calls, it gets a little bit difficult. So, Jess, you have carte blanche. Just give me a hand signal over. I can see you. If I sit up real tall, I can see you over the monitor, and you can let us know when we get emails.
All three of us could use a little height extension.
I'm telling you, or at least a booster chair or something for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So listen, today you're in for a special treat. We've got a Tampa native of note with us in studio. He's going to talk to us a little bit about what he's done throughout his career, maybe share a story or two about an early Thanksgiving memory that he might have. And we're all connected, as we like to say on this show. If you've been here in Tampa for any length of time, and Joe, you've been here for a hot minute now.
A little while, about 50 years.
That's pretty good. And you found your way up here from Bradentown.
That's right. Yes, as a young whippersnapper.
A young whippersnapper, an inspiring artist, and bon vivant.
Yeah, absolutely, all that.
Looking to have a good time in Ybor City, as it were. You didn't end up in. I mean, you didn't start out in Ybor City, but I guess you found your way there.
I'm laughing at the good time part because sometimes it wasn't a good time. But, I discovered Tampa, and I grew up in the shadow of Tampa. If you grow up in one of the communities around Hillsborough County, Tampa is the Big Apple or the Big Guava. And so when I was a young lad, all of your TV personalities and everything came out of Tampa.
Sure, all the events, the Harlem Globetrotters were here, the Ice Capades were here, the Gasparilla
everything,
Parade
the
was
State Fair, all that good stuff. Yeah, so I and my parents, my parents and I would come up, and Tampa was always a special place. So the fact that I ended up getting stuck here turned out to be a good thing.
I think so too, and it's done well for your career as well.
Yeah.
So our guest today in studio is Mr. Tom Fillion. Tom, as we have noted earlier, is an artist, is a poet, is an author, and somebody who has been well ensconced in the community for how long now, Tom? Say hello to our guest, first of all, and then tell us a little bit about your family history. And, Tom, if I could get you to just move a little bit to your left.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
So that way I can keep an eye line on you. And there we are. Hi, Tom.
Thanks for having me. I've been in Tampa 70 years. I'm 72. I moved here when I was 2 years old.
From?
St. Johnsbury, Vermont.
Oh, wow.
I'm originally from Vermont.
Vermonters, your whole family?
So my older brother, Danny, who you know, Danny was born here in Tampa. Mm-hmm. But my dad is French-Canadian. He was born outside of Quebec City.
I love
My
it.
mother was from East Orange, New Jersey. and they met in Vermont at Linden State Teacher College.
Sort of the midway point between the Quebecers and the New Jerseyites.
So my mother got polio in the 1950s. That's why we moved to Tampa, because
Weather?
that and Florida is flat. She could not walk. We lived on a hill. We lived on Maple Street in St. Johnsbury, Vermont.
Why does that surprise no one? Maple Street in Vermont.
Yeah, right.
25 Maple Street. You know,
There you go.
It's in my soul.
So you had mentioned your brothers Mark, which went to school with my older brother at Plant. You guys
Yes.
were all three Plant guys.
We all graduated from Plant.
And Danny, whom is my age, and we went to we played at North Palomino baseball together.
Yep, and I did too.
Also a Plant guy.
We all played at North Palomino back in the day.
It was pretty spirited back then. I mean, North Palomino back then was a competitive. I mean, would we put it on the same level as West Tampa Little League? Maybe not, because we didn't have the numbers, but it was every bit as competitive.
So West Tampa and Wellswood.
Another.
Yeah, they all had great baseball teams. Some of the, and Belmont Heights, same thing.
Don't sleep on either Elks or.
That's where I played, Elks Little
Right,
League.
don't sleep on Elks. And the other one that was back there behind Britton Plaza, I'm trying to think now.
Well, that would be Palmacia.
Palmacia was behind Britton Plaza. On the other side of Dale Mabry, Elks became Forest.
Became Foremost, I believe.
I'm trying to remember now. It'll come back to me.
See, Foremost, the dairy, they had a place on Gandy and the baseball field. So I played with, when I first went down there, Mike
Fair Oaks. He just came to me.
Okay, Fair Oaks.
It just jumped into my
that's
head.
Right, yeah. Fair Oaks.
Forgive me for interrupting. Fair Oaks.
So I played on the Tigers with Mike Gossett, who was Mike Graham.
We know very well the Graham family, the Graham legacy.
Eddie Graham.
Eddie
Graham, yeah. And so there were some really good players down there. Oh, my God.
Well, and we know that Hulk Hogan played down there as well. I believe he played at Inter Bay, perhaps. He was down. Because Inter Bay was what fed Robinson High School.
Yeah, and see, I taught at Robinson for 20 years.
Did you?
I did, yes.
What years?
So I went there about 2000, and I retired in 2019.
What was your discipline? What did you teach?
I taught, I did in-school suspension.
All right, ISS. Let's ring a bell for Tommy teaching ISS. I don't know, did you have to teach anything there, Tom?
Oh, it was the best class ever, man.
Of course. Sit down, be quiet.
Yeah, no, I didn't even have
Study
to say
hall.
that. You may approach the desk.
Yeah.
No,
That's
so
wonderful.
but I taught math.
Okay.
I did not. I taught in the regular part of the school, not the IB. And I taught math. I taught trig and algebra 2, geometry, all those classes. And I also
Still understand that math today, because that was one thing that, and Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, high math, I didn't see the merit in it, so I didn't embrace it as fully as I should have. I struggled with it. I just didn't see the practical application.
Well, I mean, trig is very useful as far as finding distances and so forth, and it's used in a lot of.
So maybe it would have helped me hit the curve. Your brother's curveball better had I had a better fixation on trigonometry.
Nope.
And that's physics. No, because your brother was 12-6. Listen, I digress. We're getting way down into the weeds on baseball. Let's back up again and talk.
But I also coached when I first went there. I helped with the track team, and I helped with, and then I was with. I did the boys tennis and golf.
Did you enjoy your time there?
I did, yeah. Especially, you know what? This time of year for teachers, Thanksgiving to Christmas, best time of the year.
That 2-week break is coming up.
Well,
everybody's in a good mood.
Yeah, you're off this week, and you're not. You have time to do stuff. So that, to me, as hard as teaching is, that this time of year is really a good time.
It is. And Joe, we can all agree. I think the three of us here, close in age, all of us, that back then Tampa was different.
No doubt.
Tampa moved a lot slower. I think the community was more compressed, and we all knew each other.
It's a big little city back.
It was, and
little city.
We still boast about that today. It's a warm and friendly place too. Maybe less so today because, we're being the original settlers, as it were. The third and fourth generation Tampeños are being displaced.
Right.
But we still try desperately to retain that that warmth, that sense of community, and I think people leave us whenever they come to visit us going, wow, that's a nice town. And then they come back and they stay. Tommy, help me out here.
Yeah.
Get them off
Yeah.
at 275.
Well,
I couldn't get here today.
You know, I will tell you
I
this.
came down Buffalo to, or
No,
Luther
you
King.
came down Buffalo. You came
Yeah,
down
that's
Buffalo.
right.
Because,
You old timer, you.
I know, yeah. Well, and I told you I lived over in Seminole Heights at one time. And
Sure.
I lived on Central Avenue. I lived in Sulphur Springs. When I was going to USF, I lived out on Fowler in an old Florida house with no AC. But
Mercy.
we had an attic fan.
Yes, didn't we all have those back in the
we had
day?
an attic fan.
Very effective, too.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
open all the
fans.
windows, and then you knew exactly where to stand where that air came up and out.
So
to get that air conditioning.
And I'll never forget. You know how much I paid a month? There was like
$45.
That's a little too high.
Okay. Oh, my.
I think I paid $36 a month to live on the
That
back.
is impressive.
I lived on the back porch.
What has happened to our dollar? We don't even have a clue.
Yeah. You know, I just want to say very quickly, because you happened to mention earlier that I came up from Bradenton. My sense of it is, as kind of an insider-outsider relationship, is that the sense of community really sort of hit me when I came to Tampa, that it was much stronger than in my hometown. Now, my hometown was much smaller, and you would think that the sense of
Smaller would be Mayberry RFD, more or less.
yeah. And you would think that that would therefore mean that there would be a stronger sense of community in that smaller town. But it wasn't like that. And I think part of it is that Tampa created an energy that sprung out of the immigrants that came here. Because as a person who teaches history at times, and I conduct history tours, I'm a fan of history. The American story is the story of immigration. That is the American story.
Here.
And Tampa had all of these Sicilians and Cubanos and Spaniards, and all of those
Germans,
all of those
Jewish
people, all of those groups tend to, without me stating any kind of prejudice, I think we could support this. They're very, very family oriented and community oriented. It's very strong. My Bradenton, where I grew up, was basically essentially a white Anglo Southern community. It was just like another
Southern town,
another Florida. Yeah, Tampa has this energy about it that has gone on from family to their grandchildren, to their great-grandchildren. And I think it's a different energy, and it's very strong.
So let's ask Tom, because I'm curious to find out. Tom, please.
So my father is a naturalized citizen. He was born in Quebec, so he had to be naturalized. He served in the Navy during World War II, and he's buried up at Bushnell, the
National Cemetery.
National Cemetery. Yeah.
And by the way, while we're getting there, because further down we won't be here.
Do you have dual citizenship? Is that what you were going to ask?
No, I was going to say that when I first saw your name, I said to myself, that is a very French name.
Filion, yeah.
Filion.
Yeah.
So, do you know much about your ancestry in terms of
great question,
the home country?
So I've been to Montreal. In fact, we went to the Olympics. My brother 76. We went to the Olympics.
Bruce Jenner, when he was Bruce Jenner, won the decathlon. And won the decathlon. Sorry.
So we tried to go see Sugar Ray, but we couldn't afford to get in.
That's right.
But we went with Mark and I, my older brother Mark. We went with Bill Burkus, who played at Robinson.
Absolutely.
And then Bill was drafted by the San Diego
He's a big
Padres.
fella.
Oh yeah, he was great. He was, but he went to the University of Richmond on a football scholarship, hurt his knee, and he came back here. He played for Robin Roberts out at USF. So we drove Bill. He got a new car or something, and we drove up to Montreal in his new car
from here,
from Tampa. Yeah.
Wow, that's a couple of days.
Oh yeah. Well, so when I was 16, my brother Mark and I, we used to ride the Greyhound bus up to New Hampshire. We worked in New Hampshire at Mount Washington.
Like during the summers?
For the summers, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we went up there for the summers, and we worked on the Cog Railroad because my grandfather had worked. My French grandfather had worked for the Boston and Maine, and then he worked at the Cog Railroad, and So that's how we ended up there from like 16. I worked there from like 16 to 20 during the summer.
What a fabulous legacy for your family. And I'm thinking that, as you alluded to, Joe, that Tampa has that draw, right? Tampa has that pull, even, for people that move away. I moved away for 15 years while I was chasing my career, but ultimately came back. The draw is strong to come back. And you had the experience of going up north in your summers and experiencing the lifestyle, different lifestyle completely. But yet you still always came back.
Yeah.
Something special.
Of course, I was still in high school at that point.
Right, 16.
Too,
but you're here now.
I am, yeah.
So did your family have do you know of a long history in Quebec?
Yeah. They had farms up in Saint Sylvester. And
so Agra.
Yeah. So my grandfather, they would come. I mean, back in the day, then. This is probably the 20s. You could cross the border no problem and stay. And so they eventually stayed. And my grandfather, he worked at the Cog Railroad. That's how I ended up there. So I was the third generation of my family to work at Mount Washington.
And what would you do? What were your responsibilities?
So the first summer there, I washed dishes in the restaurant.
Nice. What else is a 16-year-old going to do?
The next year,
peel potatoes.
The next year, I worked outside on what is called the base crew, and we picked up. We had this big thing that was called the honey bucket. We would go around and pick up all the trash and stuff, and then by the third summer, I worked. I was a switchman on the trains because
a little more responsibility now.
Yeah. So I did that, and I was a brakeman. So coming down the mountain, you have to pull the passenger car off the engine. So that's what the brakeman would do. So I did that, and then the fourth summer I was there. I was a fireman on one of the trains, and so basically you had to shovel it was like a ton of coal to get up the mountain.
So wow. I'm thinking, and Joey, follow me on this. It was such an exciting time, and such a variety of different skill sets that you were learning. Hard work, certainly, and you loved it so much that you didn't do that as a career. I'm just asking. There was you had enough of it that you knew I don't want to be a railroad guy my whole life.
No, but you know what?
What a great experience, though.
It was, and I'm still friends with some of those same guys that I worked with.
That did stay.
Yeah, well, they didn't. So a lot of the guys that I worked with. They were going to like Harvard and Dartmouth.
Really?
Oh yeah. It was a very interesting experience.
Smart guys?
For a high school guy. There were older, local people that worked there.
Sure.
But these were mostly college guys, and I was just a high school punk basically. And so it was. I worked with. Do you remember? C. Everett Koop, the
yes,
Surgeon
of course,
General.
Surgeon General with that funny beard.
Oh yeah. So his son and daughter both worked there with us.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a very interesting place, and
you wouldn't trade that experience, would you?
Not at all.
There you go.
Totally.
And you went with your brother. You said Mark went with you.
Mark went with me, and we had another friend.
Skip Danny though. Danny was too much
Dan
further
was
down.
playing baseball.
Right.
And he never did that. I think he sort of regrets it, but
yeah, because you can talk about it now. You can share, those stories.
So one interesting thing on the, so when I went up there at 16, we stopped in Washington D.C. and if you recall, on June 8th. Robert Kennedy had been assassinated.
Correct.
In
Los Angeles.
So we got on the Greyhound bus, we got into D.C. about 5 or 6 in the morning of June 9th. And I had an uncle Tom, by the way.
There you go.
My brother.
For whom you were named, probably, maybe?
Well, that and my grandfather was Thomas Allen, Filion.
There you go.
So I got there, and Uncle Tom, he took us to Arlington to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which is up on a hill. And it was early in the morning, and if you look right down there, so Robert Kennedy, I don't know if you remember, they had brought him down from New York on a train late at night. So when we got there early the next morning, he had just been buried a few hours before we got there, right, and he was buried right next to John Kennedy.
Wow.
Do they both have an eternal flame, or just John?
As I recall, I think they both do. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me was we were basically the only ones there looking down. The city had not cleaned they had not cleaned the litter. There was just litter all over the place.
Oh, wow.
And it was just us looking down at.
Did you absorb that moment? Did you know when you were? Did you look at your brother and say, "Do you realize what's going on here?"
Well, I'm thinking about it now, and I have tears in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, opportunities lost. We've been
Yeah.
struggling, Tom, for the last 3 weeks with our shows and our topics.
Well, and so once again, what a unique experience to have done that.
No, incredible.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like today, we all have phones in our pockets that have cameras. You probably didn't have a camera then, so the only thing was your mind's eye to remember it in the memory.
So, and then here's the other thing, just coming back, so that was 68. and 69, I was coming back to Tampa, and it was towards the end of the summer, and this guy that I work with, I'll never forget his name, John Montgomery, had just bright red hair, and he worked on the counter in the restaurant, and it's towards the end of the summer, and I'd been up there since early June, and so I was ready to come back to Florida and go back to school, et cetera, et cetera. And so I had already bought my ticket to come back to Tampa, and John, he was kind of out there, kind of a hippie guy, and hey, I'm going to this concert. It's over in New York. You want to go with me? And I said, damn, John, I bought my ticket to come back to Tampa.
Don't tell me that was Woodstock.
It was.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. That's a double bell ringer there.
I know. And I almost said a word I shouldn't have said.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what Jessica's there for. She'll dump it for you.
So when I got back to Tampa and I'm looking at the news, I'm seeing, this concert, there's rain and all sorts of stuff. And I said, that's the concert that Montgomery wanted me to go to. Well, I never saw him again. He never came back to New Hampshire. So I don't know if he made it or not. I hope he did.
Yeah. But that would have been another life-changing experience. And certainly it sounds like you've had a few of them in your life, and it's been a good life. And I'm guessing that, the history coming from Canada and from Jersey, and we didn't talk about your mom's side of the family, but give us a little thumbnail on your mom's side.
Okay, so my mother, her father was John Farson String, and he was a graduate of Cornell, and so he's in 1906 there was a fire at the fraternity house that he lived in. And it's a famous Cornell story. He was a freshman. He was on the top floor of this fraternity house, and they never figured out how the fire started. But there was like 8 people that were killed.
Oh, students.
And a couple firefighters. He was able to survive it, and I was thinking if he hadn't, I wouldn't be here.
We all have stories like that, right?
I know.
Yeah.
So,
I realize the patriarch or the matriarch.
So his mother, his mother went to Lincoln's second inauguration because her father was a congressman from New Jersey, John Farson Starr. So that would be my great-great-grandfather. He was a congressman from New Jersey.
On your mother's side?
On my mother's side, yeah.
That's incredible. Well, Doris Kearns.
And I have a copy of the invitation also.
No, you don't.
I mean,
Did you bring it with you today? No, I'm teasing, Tom. Stop looking. Stop looking.
No.
No. Listen,
I have a picture.
we 100% tease here because we can, but we know absolutely you're telling us the truth.
It's just so I'm proud of that.
Well, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, not every family can boast that.
No.
That's a big deal. And again, whether it was Abraham Lincoln or JFK or RFK and MLK as well,
Sure.
These have been monumental and altering situations in the trajectory of the history of this country.
No doubt.
That I think we're still, in some ways, reeling from now. Let's do a station identification. When we come back, we'll give away the phone number and the email address so people can reach us here if they have any questions for you.
This is Justin Peters, and you're listening to The Conversation with Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter on WMNF 88.5 Tampa.
Listening to WMNF, as Justin just told us, and let's give the phone number now, Joey. I'm going to do that because I'm closer to it and I can see it a little bit better. It's 813-239-9663. If you'd like to get in on the conversation, have a question for Tom, our guest, Tom Fillion, our guest today. 813-433-0885 if you'd like to send us a text. Jessica's standing by waiting for your emails. You can reach us here at dj@wmnf.org. Tom, that's fascinating. And listen, I've known.
Also, I spent a year in Saudi Arabia.
Come on now, we're getting all the good stuff. Well, how old were you when you did that?
So I went there. I was in Desert Storm '91. I went there. I was there for a year.
Were you covering it correspondence-wise?
No,
how did you find your way there?
So I was. I taught English to the Royal Saudi Air Force. I was teaching English.
Tom, is there anything you haven't done? Let's flip all the cards and just ask, were you in on the building of, say, I don't know, Tampa Stadium? I mean,
no, but I know Henry Saavedra. I went to.
There you go, the Saavedra family, of course. We know the Saavedra family.
So
he went to St. Lawrence, Henry.
How did you come to be teaching to the royal family?
Yeah.
Okay, so
really interesting.
I started down the street at Hillsborough County Adult High School that had a huge program. They called it ESL back in the day, English as Second Language. I was certified in my degrees in English, but I went back and I took a lot of math classes, so that's how I ended up teaching math also. But I taught English to people from all over the world, wherever there were trouble spots in the U.S. In the world. They would end up down at Hillsborough County Adult High School, where that Winn-Dixie is.
Yes,
remember that old building?
Of course.
Yeah. So I taught there and all the teachers were out of Ybor City. They were just old Tampa guys, really. And so I ended up there, and then I had a full-time temporary position that in 1990. The teacher, she was out on a medical leave. She came back, so I lost that position. There was a hiring freeze, so I just applied for a job and out of the Tampa Tribune.
Oh, my.
I know, and the next thing I know,
when they had one ads.
Oh, yeah. And I had the principal at Hillsborough County Adult High School, Isidore Landetta. I don't know if you know Landetta. No. He wrote me just a really nice letter and for my resume, et cetera. And next thing I know, I'm heading to Saudi Arabia, and I got there.
Mercy.
And we taught.
Were you flying solo at the time, Tom? Did you have family
married.
in tow?
No, I was married. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
How'd she feel about that? The missus.
Well, I said, hey, I got a job, man.
Is she listening now?
My wife passed away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I said, I got a job, it's a full-time job. It's got all the benefits.
Honey, we're going to Saudi Arabia.
No, the only thing is it's a long commute, baby.
Yeah.
No, she would not go.
Oh.
And my daughter was 8 years old, so that was very difficult. But in the summer. So this was 91. In the summer, they met me in Frankfurt, and we drove from Frankfurt up to June. My wife was from New York City, and her family was Norwegian. And so her dad grew up in Norway. So we went up to Norway, from tip of Denmark, we went across to Norway and met up with some of her relatives. And
so 2 questions.
yes,
Can you
sir.
identify those flags if they put them in front of you? I bet you can. And the other thing is, isn't travel cool? Isn't travel, because you've been traveling, man, you've been nomadic since you were 16 years of age.
That's true.
You
yes.
can't let no grass grow underneath your feet.
So I would say, especially living a year in Saudi Arabia was transformative to me. To live outside of the United States, to see how other countries work.
Conducted their business.
And at the time in '91, I mean, we were pretty much welcomed by most Saudis at that time, because if you remember, Saddam had taken over Kuwait. And
we all remember the visuals, man, the fires and horrible.
And the Saudis, they could not have stopped Saddam. If he had come down from Kuwait City to down that part of the Persian Gulf, he could have taken over their oil fields very easily. So they were very appreciative, and they could not defend themselves. That's a huge country. It's as big. Saudi Arabia is as big as the eastern side of the United States from the Mississippi over. And there's, maybe at the time, maybe 15 million people. And so...
it's a lot of open land.
And there's Bedouins all over the place. I lived on a U.S. Air Force compound, and I was about maybe 50 clicks from Mecca, but as a non-Muslim, I could not go to Mecca. You have to be Muslim, and you
with identification cards and everything. Of course.
Yeah.
Everywhere you went, you had to present that card. So Joey, we mentioned earlier, because you did a little deeper dive. And listen, let me say right up front, if you're just tuning in right now, and maybe you've just found us here, WMNF 88.5, you're listening to Tom Fillion, our guest today. This is the conversation with Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter, and we're learning some real fascinating details about Tom's life as it is. And Joe, you mentioned that you did a little deep dive researching some of the writings that Tom did. Let's take the conversation now into how he became a writer. When did he?
Yeah, well, let's let Tom describe that, because we want to make sure. What I'm realizing right now
is that an hour is not going to be enough for this conversation.
we could talk.
This is a
Tom.
4-part show, Tom. Yeah. This is a 4-parter.
Yeah,
so
we can talk to Tom for the entire show and not even get to his authorship.
Correct.
So let's get to that, because you are a poet and you are a novelist, and let's talk about how that sort of evolved.
So when I graduated from USF in *75, and then I went to work at and I lived over on Central Avenue. I went to work at HCC, and I did silkscreen printing, and I was a gopher basically, but the lady I worked for there, her husband had he sold water beds at Northgate Plaza. So
very popular back in the day.
I know, man. So I started setting up water beds for him, and it was all the underground economy. I mean, I got he just paid me per setup, but so I mean, I'd set up water beds all over the place, all over Hillsborough County, Tampa, and it was a trip. And I used to tell him, I had a good friend, he went to graduate school, and I said, you know what, setting up water beds, that's my graduate school.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah, because and so that's the first novel that I wrote. It's very episodic, but it's really some funny stuff. I met just some wild people.
Absolutely. Well, it was a wild time.
It was.
It was a we were still stretching those muscles, as it were.
Yeah. So I got liquored and stoned with a lot of people.
I bet you did. Well, if you're going into a house to set up a waterbed, you know right away your clientele.
And you're there for like 2 or 3 hours.
Correct.
So I just.
So the bong's on the table. Here's some wine. We're listening to Zepp on the.
All different kinds of people, and that was the thing. I mean, it was when I wrote The Dream Mechanic. It just crossed so many social levels, which is what I had just a lot of fun writing it.
But what was the impetus for you, because for everybody who I write, and when I was 25 years old, I had a little minor dream of being a writer of some kind, and I was actually aware of the fact that I had not had enough experience in life to have anything really to write about. So my point is, there comes a moment where you say, "Hey, I've got this stuff that I can now talk about, communicate, write." What was the moment where you said, "I think I'm going to write a book about this"?
So, the year that I spent in Saudi Arabia, I wrote every day. There's nothing.
Nothing else to do, buddy.
There was nothing
else to do
except drink Saudi moonshine.
Yeah, and pick sand out of your hair and out of your teeth.
So, I mean, if you're going to be a writer, you have to just do it every day.
Yeah,
right.
And just be I'm very disciplined.
Working with your Corona, what were you banging out there? Because were we into word processors, or you have laptops already? What years were these, by the way? No, these are the 90s, right?
Oh yeah. So I had a K-Pro. Remember the K-Pro?
Yeah, I do. Wow.
In fact, I got that K-Pro from Pawn Shop over on Dale Mabry across from that McDonald's, that on the corner of El Prado and...
Buddy, you're a South Tampa guy?
Oh, yeah.
Raised and
there
still,
you go.
knowing every street corner.
So it was an old K-Pro. And then at that point... well, anyway...
That was your first effort.
That was the first...
The Dream Mechanic was your first book.
Yes.
Still available in print? Can people still find it?
Yeah. It's all my stuff's available on...
For those of you in the listening audience, Tom is now showing us his books.
Yes,
because he physically brought them in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm donating them.
We're going to read them before we donate them on.
But let me just curl back a little bit more into this.
Everything's available on Amazon. In paperback or on Kindle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people will be able to find you.
Thomas Fillion.
And we'll make sure by the end of the show to announce that again. What I'm getting at here is you're in Saudi Arabia. Are you sort of writing? Are you writing the daily images and things that you want, and it starts to come together? I mean, did you know from the moment you started that you were going to write a book, or were you just writing short stories?
I was doing both. I mean, I think I've done both, and then.
Well, I know you've wrten short stories. I'm aware of that, but I was wondering, were you in that first writing shot? What it was sort of a daily exercise that became a habit, a way to keep you.
For the Dream Mechanic, I knew that I would put it together as a novel because one of my favorite books was a thing by Sherwood Anderson called Winesburg, Ohio. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
No.
It's a sort of a series of interlocking stories, and so I sort of had that in my mind when I wrote it. But I knew that I had enough to put together as a book, as a novel, yeah. But I had some of those individual chapters, they stand alone, and I had them published online in different magazines, online.
Interesting.
Reader's Digest comes to mind. This sounds like it would be something fit for the smaller publications that will give you verses and chapters of books.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, I had probably 5 or 6 of the individual chapters that were published online.
How does writing evolve into poetry?
So, when I was going to USF, I wrote a few things, and one of the professors liked it, and he was going to put it in a book. I don't think he ever did, but I mean, so I sort of had the bug. But then, I graduated. It's like, you can't make a living writing poetry.
I can't feed myself. I can't buy a new car writing poetry.
So, I mean, I had a bunch of stuff that I'd written, and my wife, one day I said, man, I'm throwing this crap out. And she said, don't throw it out. So I still have it.
Wise words.
Yeah. So you know, in the last 10 years or so, 10, 15 years, I would write stuff, and I would save it as a poem, and so that's how I got back into it.
Yeah, well, poetry sort of is a way of getting an essence out.
Yeah.
And when you're writing a story, even a short story, even a 2-page story, a 1-page story,
right.
you're sort of aware that it's a narrative that has a beginning and an end.
There's a chronology to it.
Right.
But whereas a poem can be this sort of...
It's an explosion.
It's an explosion, exactly.
And,
Sentiment.
And so a lot of my stuff, it's... you know, it's sort of Emily Dickinson, you know, short, but poignant. You know.
And you have how many books now published altogether?
I have 7 books.
That's pretty good, Tom.
7, yeah.
That's pretty good.
And
did you
when
buy
you were
that big
talking
house on the hill? I'm just wondering.
What's that?
Did you buy that big house on the hill yet?
No, I have.
Okay.
No, I have a house.
If Noah's
I have a house in Palmacia.
Well, there you go. On the golf course, he is.
Yeah.
I'm what you call a Palmacia paper millionaire.
Nice.
Did you do much writing? You mentioned it a little bit. Did you write much in non-online periodicals? Did you do much of that?
I did not. No.
No website for Tom Fillion? No website?
I have a blog, but I don't.
Don't attend to it too much these days?
Not really. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. We're just trying to figure out where you're at presently
No.
in your development as an author, right? Are you still active? Are you still trying to hammer out some new material?
Oh yeah. I have two novels that I have. I have not published them yet, and then I've been doing a thing that I call Bayshore Chronicles.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Because I go down on Bayshore on my bicycle, and I just
somebody's got to talk about the colonnade. Come on now.
Oh, I know, man. It's gone.
I know. Don't tell me.
So I mean, I have like 350,000 words that I've written on Bayshore Chronicles. But I don't, it's
Turn
like...
it into a screenplay, Tommy. Turn it into a screenplay. Let us find a film crew, write a little short, and let's enter something in the Gasparilla Independent Film Festival. Let's talk off air, and let's figure something out. I'll round up the camera crew. I'll get the actors. You give us the words.
There we go.
And it doesn't have to be anything too big. We just something that's artistic and short. And
this has become a high-level meeting. So.
I love it.
It's sort of a diary type thing, but it's like that whole area where I'm at has changed so much.
Dramatically.
And
the balustrade's there, but much else beyond that.
And
Kojaks, come on now.
I was down there the day that that lady and her baby were. I was down there that day because I had just come back from.
It was horrible.
I know the graduation that we had at Robinson, and I had come down there, and it was bad. But there's something always going on Bayshore.
Well, once writing has become a part of you, you can write about the rain falling outside.
No.
It doesn't have to really be. But Bayshore, I can see. I used to ride Bayshore many years ago when I was much younger on a daily basis.
Right.
And there's a lot of experiences out there. And by the way, I don't know if you've ever done this, but to ride the Bayshore and then pop over onto the island on Davis Island.
I have done that.
And ride all the way out to Peter O'Night and back.
Yeah,
that's an amazing experience.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times. I'll do it on a Sunday when there's not much traffic.
Right.
That's the best time to do it.
The traffic anymore is abhorrent. I hammer that nail every week.
I try to, when I go out there, I try to go before noon because people in cars seem to be a little more forgiving. I wear a reflective vest. I have lights blinking in the front, blinking in the back, and
That's
people... They're still on their phones.
Whizzing by you.
Driving.
Yeah.
So you have to be extremely careful.
Yeah. Well, we live in one of the most dangerous areas in the country.
Even though we have bike lanes everywhere,
Yeah.
we really do. Now the latest phenomenon. Let me interject this real quickly, Tom, and I want your opinion on this.
Sure.
What is it with these e-scooters, my man? And what is it about these people that are on e-scooters that give them...
It's in my Bayshore Chronicles.
Why?
Baby.
There it is.
Why are they riding in the middle of the lane at 25, 30 miles an hour?
No, they're riding on the sidewalk there. Yeah. Oh, I got some.
You know
things
what I
to
mean
say
about that e-scooter
yeah.
phenomenon?
Tom's already beat you to it.
I figured he would.
By the way, you asked about him writing currently. I can already tell you that he's going to write until he can't write anymore.
There's no doubt. I think that it's a part of
He's not going to stop
the
writing.
expression of who he is as an individual.
Oh yeah, there's
Correct
a
us
few,
if we're wrong, Tom.
No. There's a few. I have some buddies out there, and we're always, just ragging on those guys on the
On the e-scooters?
On the e-scooters, yeah, because they'll come up behind you, and you
don't hear them.
You can't hear them or see them, and they just go whizzing by you.
Yeah.
And
A little disconcerting.
like I tell my friend Marty, I said, look, if one of them hits me, he's got to make sure I don't get up because he's going in the bay, and so
With
is that
his e-scooter.
With that e-scooter, they're both
No,
they're going in the bay.
To me, if you just, for example, as you're whizzing along at 25, 30 miles an hour, precariously perched on this razor, 5-inch, 6-inch wide platform, and you hit a rock or you hit something that's in the, I don't know how you maintain your balance. And at that speed, these guys aren't wearing it, and gals do it too. They're not wearing any protective gear. That's an accident waiting to happen.
Even the people on the rollerblades, that's especially on the Bayshore sidewalk because you have some lips.
Yes.
And
Separation.
I've seen this one lady, poor thing. I mean, she was coming towards me and she lost a wheel and she went down like a ton of bricks. And I had to call 911. She was bleeding.
Oh, that's terrible.
The widest, the longest contiguous sidewalk, I think, in the United States, it's bragged upon as being that.
Yeah.
It's also rather generous in its width, W-I-D-T-H. I can't say it because of my Invisaligns. But I will say this about that sidewalk. It's unforgiving. So, pal, if you bounce off of that sidewalk, good luck.
I know.
Better have your bean bucket on.
But see, I say that WMNF and Ybor City are crown jewels of Tampa.
Amen. Let's say that again.
Well, thank you, Tom.
And the people that are listening here, I know Sean Canan can hear that. The people that are listening here agree with you wholeheartedly. And, this is the little community radio station that still does. It's like the little train, and we're still doing it.
And by the way, since Tom brought
Volunteers,
it up.
all of us.
Since Tom brought it up, this is a good time to say that we are always open to receiving donations from you in the community.
Attaboy.
And tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Let's spread a little thanks to The Conversation. If you're listening and you'd like to drop a little tip in our jar for The Conversation, we'd deeply appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for always reminding me of that, Joe, because we get so involved sometimes in our conversations with our guests, and listen, this has been one of the most fascinating. Tommy, I mean, we're just getting to kind of know each other, right? I mean, I know you went to school with my brother and played ball against my brother, so, you're
Did
closer to his age.
Frank Cacciatore?
Poopy, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And his dad and his mom. I mean, Tampa's not that big, remember.
Big little city.
But Frank, both his parents, and of course, Poopy, great people,
I saw him at the last reunion that I went to at the Hyatt on the bay. Yeah.
And that's what I think. It's one of the hallmarks of our city. It's what we're losing each and every day, and it's what we fight so hard to kind of maintain. And I don't know if anywhere else in the country you can say this about cities. You think of great cities in the United States, the Chicagos, the Dallases. They might be too big to feel this kind of sense of intimacy about your friends and the people that you grew up with 3 and 4 generations deep now, 5 generations deep now.
Yeah.
So we're trying desperately to hold on to all of that. Tommy, we got about
let's talk a little bit more about these other books. Let's
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
We don't want to leave anything out in the time remaining.
Tell us a little bit about what was your most recent book? What is your last book?
The most recent one that I published was about Saudi Arabia.
About your experiences there?
Oh, yeah. Hubbly Bubbly.
Hubbly Bubbly.
Hubbly Bubbly.
And what a catchy title. How did you come up with that?
So Hubbly Bubbly, the Saudi Air Force guys that I taught, they would always invite me to go out and smoke Hubbly Bubbly.
Dale. We don't know what that is, but it must have been a good time.
Well,
it's a hookah, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
It's Hubbly Bubbly.
Yeah.
And
bubbly because it's in the water and it's making the bubbles.
Hubbly Bubbly. No, there's no telling what they put in it, though.
So, do you typically in your books, since I have not had the honor and a joy to read them all yet, do you typically have a sort of protagonist who's runs through a character that runs through or is it a lot of vignettes? How does that work?
No, there's definitely a protagonist, but a lot of different sub characters, I guess you'd call them. Yeah.
Have you dabbled into any screenplay writing at all, Tom? Because we can get you the program for that, and you can sit at your little computer and you can do that all day long. Sounds to me like you've got at least 3 or 4 screenplays locked up in that brain of yours.
Yeah, I have not done.
Well,
that.
let's get that out. Okay, let's get that out because we need somebody. Watch me now, and I'm being sincere when I say this. We need somebody that can do that, especially about Tampa. There's not enough out there about our beautiful fair city and its history. There are things, few things,
right,
but something that's Tampa-centric that we can hone down and then put it on film so we can save it for posterity.
Right.
So what is your number one, I don't want to say number one, what experience having become an author, a published author in which people recognize you as such, do you have one experience that's come out of all that where you were honored somewhere or where somebody read your book?
Tell us about your awards. Come on now.
Well, I have not really promoted myself. That's
in true Tampa fashion.
And so I'm retired now, and this is like my second childhood.
Okay.
Have you heard the expression "once a man, twice a child"?
I love it. I'm going to start using it. Let me write that down.
That's actually
this could be ours, Joe, by the way. This could be ours.
There's a chapter in The Dream Mechanic, Once a Man, Twice a Child.
I love it.
So now that I'm retired, I'm spending more time promoting my stuff. I've done the writing. So as a teacher, I taught high school. I had to be there like at 7:30 in the morning.
Of course.
I did my writing before I went to school.
So you're getting up at 4.
Yes.
You're getting up at 4, and you're putting in an hour and a half at least hard time.
I do a page.
Okay.
I do a page. And
again, discipline, because Tommy's disciplined. Page, get up, make the coffee.
Well, and I'm here. I was here on time too.
Yes, you were.
Yes.
No, we were in the car. Sally and I were in the car, and you came walking right by us.
If you're a teacher, man, you live and die by bells.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in my second childhood. I get up when I feel like it.
There you go. And doesn't that feel grand?
Oh, tell me about
it. Isn't that the best?
So
I don't like to start anything.
But do you have a current writing discipline? Do you or a schedule?
I do. I write in the morning. Yeah.
You write every morning still?
I still, yeah.
Because what I've noted
I try to do something physical every day. And one of the things that I've done for the last maybe 2 years, on Thursdays and Fridays, I volunteer at the Faith Cafe. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Where is that located?
It's in Midtown, up against the interstate. So
is it right there in the Midtown complex?
It's
on Dale Mabry and
you cannot see it.
Okay.
If you go Himes to Arch, which is right before the light, take a right. Now Tico has put in a high rise. Tico is moving there, I believe.
Okay.
So, but Faith Cafe is up against. You can't see it from the road, but they serve food to homeless.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I've been doing that for, I'd say, a year and a half, 2 years.
Listen. We're up against the heart out here in a couple of minutes, and I'm happy.
And so I feel very thankful in my life at this point to be able to do that for these people.
That's wonderful, Tom.
It's done by 5 or 6 churches in South Tampa.
That's wonderful. And thankful is a theme that I wanted to make sure we touched on before we left here today, because tomorrow is a holiday that has all kinds of different meanings to different people. It's an official national holiday. Banks are closed and the world just kind of shuts down. And we can talk about the Pilgrims and the indigenous peoples that were with them. But the real truth is, I think of Thanksgiving as a time to really get your head straight on about gratitude. Gratitude in your life for everything that you have.
And grateful I am today for having had Tom Fillion on our show. Tom, will you come back and do another show with us? Will you come back and flesh out this conversation a little bit more? No, I think we've got more to talk about.
Oh, no doubt.
And people haven't been calling in today because they've been listening. This is what we experience here on the conversation.
We haven't gotten into the old Tampa Mafia stuff.
And we will. And with that, my dear friends, let's just say that Tom is just scratching the surface. We're going to have him back again we're grateful, Tom, for your
Thank
appearance
you,
here
Tom.
today on the
Thank you.
conversation.
It's been wonderful.
We'd like to say to everybody out there that's listening to us, thank you for being there. If you'd like to join us at any point in time and show a little love in that tip jar, we would graciously accept that.
That's right. And by the way, stay tuned for Jim Bannon, who's going to be running the tunes.
He's coming right up. He's coming right up in just a minute. So on behalf of everybody that works so hard to put this little show together each and every week with love in their heart, to educate you, inform you, and maybe somehow entertain you as well. Thank you to Jessica Green, our OG, for working the boards. Thank you, my man.
You
I
got
appreciate
it.
you, Joe, always.
Always my
I'm Mario
pleasure.
Nunez, and you're listening to WMNF Tampa.